Hey guys, so today we're going to go off on a big old tangent about how to create SEO friendly articles using FAQ schema, answering questions, creating a better SEO friendly architecture, and applying a table of contents. So in the description below, there should be a table of contents with this video. Nice, see how important it is. So what we have here, as you see, I've used the keyword Adobe products, and within the search results here, you can see that we have some links. Those links are the product of the table of contents. So that's why it's so important to use, because Google will give priority to people who take the time to write long articles and then divide those articles by the small little subjects within the articles, providing better, valuable content for our readers. So, back into it, I'd like to show you another example right here. That is another search result, and in the bottom you can see that we have the links that are within the table of contents in the article. So, how do we add a table of contents using the Gutenberg Editor? Well, I'm going to show you. Let me make sure I'm opening my page here. All right, so we've got the Gutenberg Editor open. We're going to go ahead and we're going to give it a title. And I'm going to go ahead and say, what to play on Game Pass story-driven games. Now, here's the thing about this title. I'm going to teach you this right now. Listen to it. What to play on Game Pass story-driven games. This is what it sounds like. What to play on Game Pass story-driven games. Sounds good. It could sound better. And what happens is when we make it sound a little better, we revert from the high-value keywords that we've placed in this title, because those are great keywords. But then we add some clickability value to it because it stands out a little better. So what I mean by that is adding a 45. What to play on Game Pass, 45 story-driven games. And now, oh, didn't bring my water. Whatever. Now there's another aspect to this. We've got 45 games in this article. That's awesome. What else could we do to make it a little different? Well, we could say the latest 45 story-driven games. We could say the hottest 45 story-driven games. We could say 2022's, 2022's hottest. We could say hottest instead of 45. 2022's hottest story-driven games. There are many different ways to rewrite that title. And this is very important because you don't want to go through the egregious, is that the word? Egregious. I think that's the word. Somebody look it up. Egregious, laborious, putting together an article. That takes a long time. I hate doing it. It's really cool doing this video, but yeah, it takes a long time. So make sure you at least put a cool article title so that people will start clicking it, because that sounds way more exciting. Next. Now we can choose a block to start writing content. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab some lorem ipsum right here. So I'm going to pretend I'm writing content, right? Now, if you press the return key while in Gutenberg Editor, by default, it is paragraph text. So I'm going to go ahead and write my heading here. We're going to go ahead and write Gradius, one of the best games known to man. And then we're going to put some more paragraph text. The next one, we're going to do clay fighter. Boop, boop, boop. Adventure Island. Silent Hill. Yup. And then final, Fantasy 7. Okay. We just wrote an article. We're going to keep going with this. So, as you can see, I scroll right back down here. I'm going to add a heading 3 to make sure our heading 3s come in, because right now, if we take a look, we've got 4 of them, titles, right? So now if I added this one, I'm going to update, and I'm going to refresh, and it brought us back down to Silent Hill 1, and that's because I refreshed on that last. All right, we're back here on the back end, and I'm going to go ahead and make Final Fantasy VII a heading because I forgot. And as you can see, when we click on this, our Rankmath button, we get the Rankmath part of our article, right? So this is what allows us to check for the SEO. You can actually click in any other part of your content and choose the settings button, and we can see the settings for that block. You can choose a heading, you get the settings for that block. You can choose, if I had bullet points and things in here, you would see that within the block. And you know what? Why don't we add a picture or something? We can highlight an area and it will tell us to add a block, or we can always do this. Add a return, and then there's a hole to add a block with. I'm going to go ahead and do it that way, sure. And we could do an image. We can add an image in here. And I'm just going to choose from the media library what's already in here. We'll choose Alan Wake, sure. Now I've got Alan Wake, and within these settings here, I can adjust the alignment within the center, you know, whatever we want. And as you can see, when we are selected on the block over here on the right, we've got some options to make it bigger or smaller, some alt text, which you always want to fill out, because alt text is how blind people understand the photo, and it's also how Google Images understands the photo, because Google Images is technically like a blind person. So anyone searching for images is going to want to understand, or is going to search for the image that you have. So we'll just say Alan Wake cover. And you know what, guys? Sometimes I don't make sense when I talk, but I have a feeling you kind of get what I'm saying. So we can easily add some rounded corners if we want, but we're not going to get into that because that is a styling thing, and that is between you and your designer. Now we're going to go up to Rankmath. Now, if we go down here to content readability, you will see that Rankmath understands we have a table of contents plugin. That is because it is compatible with the Easy Table of Contents plugin that we've installed. It understands we're using short paragraphs, which is great. It says we don't have any, your content contains images and or videos. Maybe we don't have enough, or we have too many, but if you click on the little, what is this thing, question mark? Click on the little question mark, it takes you to some more info, okay? Read that, because what happens is when we write and we do SEO, we're going to have to do a lot of reading, because sometimes we forget what it is we want to put in there. But I'm going to show you some of the basics, and I'm going to try and finish as much as I can. So we notice that we don't have a focus keyword. What is a focus keyword? Well, that's what we want to focus on our article ranking for. And it can be multiple keywords. You never rank for just one keyword. It's real rare. But you usually rank for multiple keywords depending how people's search intent is in the internet. So let's go to the focus keyword, and we will say story-driven games was one keyword, and we'll say copy, and we'll throw it in there in our focus keyword. Now this is not dead set. You're not telling Google these are my keywords. Google decides what your keywords are. Users decide what your keywords are. We are just using this tool to determine how well we have optimized a page for those keywords. So as you can see, if we were to optimize for story-driven games, and I don't see my score anywhere, so I'm going to just update this page real quick. Oh, my score's up there. All right, it's up here, okay. I got a 49 out of 100, and that's because technically I don't have real content anyway. If I did, I might want to somehow include the verbiage, what to play on Game Pass in here, and story-driven games a few times. I'm going to show you a trick how to include story-driven games within this article, because you're thinking to yourself, well, how do I repeat the word without it sounding weird? And I'm going to show you, one trick, and that's where creativity comes in. So here, for example, I could put in a divider, separator, and above that separator, I'm going to say something like, let's say 12 horror story-driven games. Horror story-driven games, right? Now we have a dividing of the subjects and titles, okay? So that we can reuse the keyword story-driven games, and we can also get the keyword optimized a little better. So down here, we would do the same thing. We're going to add a separator. They're calling it separator here. And then we're going to say 12 action and adventure story-driven games. See how beautiful that is? And what we're going to do is we are going to make this a heading, but we are not going to make it a heading 2 or 3. We're going to make it a heading 4, and we are also going to center it. We're going to get crazy. We're going to center it, okay? Heading 4. And we're going to center it. Okay? Now that's how you get that keyword in there multiple times. Now if we click on story-driven games, we've brought it up to 54 now. Same thing with what to play on Game Pass. Now how do we get that score up a little bit better so it's better than, I think we're getting ranked 54 for that too. We'll have to save and check. So what to play on Game Pass? For example, we got to use our brains here. Sometimes I sit alone in my room and I wonder to myself several things, including what to play on Game Pass. That's good. Things like that, right? You can use your imagination. But it brought up the score a little bit because we added that word in there. And you'll notice, if you get real deep into it, Rankmath is going to tell you all kinds of things. Use at least 1,000 words. Get the keyword density within a certain point. Your URL. Now the URL is real important because you're going to have to decide which keyword is going to be your top focus primary keyword for that page. So if we go back to our settings, we have a spot right here called the permalink. Now normally this would get set before you publish it to the right keyword you want to use. So the URL I want to use in this case would probably be dependent on which of these has the highest searchable value, but also the lowest competition. So let's take a look at that. Story-driven games. If we go to my favorite tool, SpyVu, we can also use UberSuggest, which is free. We can enter the keyword here, story-driven game. Let's take a look. This takes a long time to load. This is really, this is awkward. We're just sitting here. There we go. The SEO difficulty is easy for story-driven games. And you have about a 720 search volume. So that would be an awesome one to use as the primary keyword, in my opinion, because SEO comes down also not from just a science of the historical data, but the opinion of your experience and also what you think has clickable value. So what I'm going to do is we're just going to do one more check and see what to play on Game Pass brings us, okay? So what we'll do is we are going to write down that this has a 720 search volume and a difficulty of 26, which is easy. Now watch the difference. When we put what to play on Game Pass, this has a SEO difficulty of 90 and a search volume of 50? What to play on Game Pass? Really? Well, we most certainly don't want to try and rank for that. And we should go for the other one. So, in my opinion, if it were me, I would choose story-driven games on Game Pass. That's what I would put. I don't know. What would you put? I'd like to know because I think that's really good, actually. Okay. Next, there's some other things we can do to make this more SEO friendly. So I've already showed you how to like add some spice to this article. Make it a little more SEO friendly. Make it look beautiful by dividing it into sections. Add some more, we added subject titles. What are they called? Genres. We added genres to our article. So we're going to take a look. We're going to preview in the new tab. Now this, oh, dang. Oh, look at this. Look at. All right. So, oh my God. Look, Silent Hill 1, 2, and 3. We've got it divided up by horror story driven games. And obviously, I know some, I just throw it in there. And I know what they are, I think. If anybody else knows, I don't know what you know. Anyway, so then we have action and adventures. And we could add in there 12 story-driven games for kids, 12 story-driven games with animals in it, anything, I mean, just look how beautiful the article looks now. Once you get it going, once it's long, and I mean, dang. I would really like writing articles. It'd be fun if I had the time, but I don't. I have to make these videos, and I have to make websites, and I have to do all kinds of stuff. You can't do everything. The next thing we're going to learn, Rankmath, and how do we get an FAQ in our article, and why we should use an FAQ in our article. Well, that's because a lot of people ask Google questions. And we want to be one of the few that answers those questions for them. So if we take a look, let's go to how to make a Moscow Mule. Now take a look at this. Some of these recipes have a recipe schema optimizer so that the picture and the ratings will show up. And I don't even think it's recipe. It's actually a rating optimizer, I believe. I'd have to look it up, but that's not for this, not for what we're doing. We want to look at, oh my goodness, take a look at this. What do we have here? Exactly. Table of contents for a Moscow Mule. Amazing, right? Amazing. But I think we came here for an FAQ, right? But this is a great example because what I want to show you is that they did an FAQ and a table of contents in one. Take a look at this. What is in a Moscow Mule? And then we go down, and then it says how to make a Moscow Mule. Why are Moscow mules served in copper mugs? Every question that people ask is right here, and this is why they're ranked at the top. It's simply because of that. They've got the recipe right there, and then more questions, and the table of contents. Where did that table of contents go? Oh, where's the table of contents? Maybe it's hidden. Maybe the FAQ is being treated like a table of contents as well. You think you think I would know this stuff for the video, but you know what? Sometimes you learn things on the fly. But what I do want to show you is, here are the questions here. Why does a Moscow mule have to be in a copper mug? These are the questions you want to come up for. Okay? Now they actually ask the questions in a somewhat table of contents kind of way. That's why they're here. I haven't looked at their code to figure out why it looks like this, but I'm sure that's what it is. They have a table of contents going on. And then we have the questions, the FAQ. This is where you'll show up for FAQ. These are all the similar questions people ask. And if you want to understand what they are asking about the Xbox games, we just simply ask the question, what to play on Game Pass, okay? So, what to play on Game Pass? What else are they asking? Is Game Pass good for gaming? Can I play Game Pass games with gold? That's what they're asking. If you click on one, you'll get similar ones to the gold one, right? How long do Game Pass games stay? And these are great because even though a few other people probably answered the question already, it doesn't mean you can't answer it. And you can use UberSuggest for the same thing. What to play on Game Pass? Well, if we scroll down, we can see there's some keyword terms here that happen to be questions. How to play Xbox games on an iPad. How to play Game Pass on an iOS. How to play Game Pass on an iPad and on a phone. You'll have to choose what you think is best to answer. Then we have what to play on Game Pass indie games. So let's just take one of these. Let's do the offline one. How to play Game Pass games offline. Okay. We're going to go back and watch how cool this is. We are going to go to the bottom of our article here. I'm going to grab some of this content, copy, paste, and now let's pretend it's the end of the article. We're going to answer questions. I'm going to click this, and I'm going to say FAQ by Rankmath. Holy moly! That was so easy. It's beautiful too. All you have to do is answer the questions here, and it's going to make the schema for you. And that schema, which I didn't talk about earlier, schema is the results. It's these rich results on the front end, right? These are rich results. It's not just a list. You've got questions, you've got pictures, you've got all kinds of stuff. So we're going to do that. If I can remember the question. How to play Game Pass games offline. And you're going to write that in there exactly like that if you want to get ranked very well. You could do a variation of it. You could play around and see what happens, but if I were you, I would just, if it sounds decent, put it in. How to play Game Pass games offline. That sounds fine. How to play Game Pass games offline. Question mark. And then we say some things like download it. And don't play games that require the internet. Or go outside and play and don't worry about it. Okay? Then we pick an image. This is so easy. We'll choose Alan Wake again because that's just a cool cover. And then to add another one, you just click the button that says add a new FAQ. It's that easy. It's easier than the classic builder one. Much easier. And you go ahead and you answer another question. You know, what's the coolest Xbox? You know what we're going to do? What to play on Game Pass. what's the coolest Xbox game to play on Game Pass? So what I did there, because I can't actually, I mean, I could if I use my brain to think for a long time. I use a part of the keyword term. And I believe that that can help come into play too. So instead of saying what to play on Game Pass, I say what's the coolest Xbox game to play on Game Pass. I'm genius, okay? And then we answer that question mark. And then we put in the answer. It's probably Gradius. Pretty sure that's how you spell it. Okay, and then you add an image again. So we did it. We made an FAQ. We made a table of contents. And we're going to update it and we're going to take a look at it. Holy moly. Oh my gosh, we made this. Look, our questions. Oh lordy, our questions are in there. You know how we fix that? I better be able to fix it for this video. But there'll probably be some styling required. This example has no styling involved. Whatever theme you're using, it's going to need to be styled. And I'm sure if we click on it, we can first of all lock it because we don't want it to move from where it's at. And up here, you should probably lock the TOC wherever it went. Oh, it's not up here. That's right. You don't need to lock it. But I bet we've got the block over here and we've got a list style type. We can number it or do unordered title wrapper. We've wrapped it in H3. So look at that. We could just wrap it in H5s. And then we've got, we can do a medium size thumbnail. Title wrapper, CSS, some content wrapper, CSS. If you know CSS, you throw it in there, do some advanced stuff. But it doesn't actually let you do any advanced styling. That would probably have to be your web developer. Nah, me. And then refresh. Oh my goodness. Hey, well, you know, that's how the cookie crumbles. So that's what you get. But you know how to do it. You know how to make the article. You don't have to worry about designing it. Just write it and I'll make it look good. Or somebody else will make it look good. And if it doesn't look good, get a hold of me. Get a hold of your local web developer, designer. They're everywhere. And they'll make it look good for you. But so, hey guys, thank you so much for watching my video and where we put together an article using SEO-friendly titles and an SEO-friendly structure. We learned how to use images, paragraphs, dividers, and titles in the Gutenberg Editor. We created a table of contents and we even used Rankmath's Schema block editor for FAQ. Or we used the FAQ Schema block editor from Rankmath. That's more like it. I don't know what you want to call it. Rankmath's FAQ Schema block. Is that it? Probably. Back to calming down. Thank you very much for watching my videos. And this is really hard for me. So if you want to see more videos from me, please subscribe to basically support me for free. I think it's free. I wish it cost money. No, I wish I got money. Yeah. Thank you.